Family, I want you to listen carefully because what I'm about to share isn't just about motivation. It's about preparation. The world has gone through storms, shutdowns, and lockdowns. Every time we see panic, fear, and uncertainty. But let me tell you something. Every lockdown is also a wake-up call from heaven. At the next one, God might not just be calling for you to stay inside your house. He might be calling for you to check your soul. Because one day, and nobody knows the day nor the hour, the rapture will begin. And when that day comes, it won't be about how much money you got, how many followers you got, or how famous you are. It's going to be about whether your heart was ready. Every lockdown is a reminder, not just a restriction. When the world went into lockdown, people thought it was just about rules, masks, and curfews. But it was much deeper than that. It was a reminder that life is fragile and nothing is guaranteed. We spend so much time chasing money, cars, status, and applause, but in just 1 week, everything we were chasing stopped. That was not just a restriction. That was heaven reminding us, you're not in charge here. If you pay attention, every lockdown strips away the noise. The parties stop, the traffic stops, the distractions stop, and when everything stops, all you're left with is you, your thoughts, and your God. Some people got depressed during that time because they realized they had built their joy on things that could be shut down. But the ones who were rooted in faith found peace even in silence. A lockdown is not just a pause in your schedule. It's a mirror for your soul. It reveals what you've been leaning on, and it shows you if you've been leaning on the wrong things. That's why so many folks couldn't handle it. They were addicted to distraction. They didn't know how to sit with themselves because sitting with themselves meant facing what was broken inside. But God allows reminders like this to wake us up. Not to destroy us, but to remind us that one day the final lockdown will come. And when that happens, no door will open again. Think about it. If the world can stop with just a virus, imagine how quickly it will stop when the trumpet sounds. That's why every lockdown should shift your perspective from earthly security to eternal security. A restriction only blocks you for a season, but a reminder prepares you for eternity. And every time the world stops, it's an opportunity to check your heart. Some folks got bitter during lockdown, others got better, some wasted time, others used the time to grow. That's the difference between seeing it as a restriction and seeing it as a reminder. When you see it as a restriction, you complain. But when you see it as a reminder, you prepare. And the people who prepare will never be caught off guard when God moves. Every lockdown has been a rehearsal for the real day when time will shut down. That day, there will be no announcement on TV, no breaking news. It will just be over. If you think it was hard when the government said, "Stay home," imagine when heaven says, "It's time." That's why you can't just live like everything will stay the same forever. Every reminder you've been given, every lockdown, every delay, every trial, was meant to wake you up and get you ready, not for tomorrow, not for next year, but for eternity. The truth is, we don't control the clock. And every time the world shuts down, it's heaven whispering, don't waste your time. Your preparation matters more than your plans. The rapture is not a story. It's a promise. People hear about the rapture, and they treat it like it's some fantasy story, like it belongs in a movie script. But this is not fiction. It's a divine promise written into eternity. You don't have to believe it for it to be true. You don't have to accept it for it to come to pass. The Word already said it. He will return like a thief in the night. That means sudden, without warning, without announcement. And that's why so many folks are unprepared. They've been laughing, mocking, and joking about it, thinking they've got time. But let me tell you something. Time is not in your hands. Every prophecy that has been spoken has its appointment, and the rapture is one of them. Heaven does not break promises. Every word spoken from God's mouth will happen. It won't be like a fairy tale ending where you get one last chance to change. No, when it begins, it's too late to negotiate. You're either ready or you're not. Imagine how the world felt the first time it shut down. Confused, shocked, and scared. Multiply that by eternity, and that's what the rapture will feel like for those who weren't prepared. The reason it feels like just a story to so many is because they're too comfortable in the world. They measure truth by what they can see, touch, and spend. But eternity is not built on sight. It's built on faith. If you're waiting to see it before you believe it, you've already missed the point. Faith is what prepares you now, before the sky cracks open. The promise of the rapture is not a threat. It's a warning wrapped in mercy. It's God saying, I love you enough to tell you in advance. Think about it. When the government wants to prepare you for a storm, they send out warnings. When heaven wants to prepare you for eternity, it sends out truth. The problem is, people ignore both until it's too late. When Noah built the ark, the people thought he was crazy. They thought it was just a story too. But when the rain came, they realized it wasn't a story. It was a promise. And just like Noah's generation, people today are living, partying, chasing money, and ignoring the signs. But the rapture is not waiting for anyone's schedule. If the trumpet sounds tonight, the question isn't how much you own, it's who owns your heart. If the sky opens tomorrow, the question isn't how much time you thought you had, it's whether you used the time wisely. Don't let this promise catch you laughing instead of listening. Don't let it catch you distracted instead of devoted. The rapture is not a story told to scare you. It's a promise to prepare you. And when that promise comes to pass, the world won't need proof, because the proof will be in the silence left behind. That's why you've got to stop treating it like a bedtime story and start living like it's the next chapter. Don't waste your quarantine. Prepare your spirit when the lockdowns hit. Most people treated it like a long vacation. They slept in, binged on shows, scrolled through social media for hours, and wasted the one thing they couldn't get back: time. What people didn't realize is that quarantine wasn't just about protecting your health. It was about exposing your habits. It showed what you do when no one is watching, and who you really are when life slows down. Some folks used it to grow. They prayed more, studied more, read more, and connected with God on a deeper level. Others used it to hide from themselves and numb their emptiness. That's why I say, don't waste the next quarantine. Don't waste the stillness. Don't waste the silence. Use it as a chance to sharpen your soul. Preparation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the shadows. And when the world forced us into those shadows, some people got stronger while others got weaker. You can't tell me you want to be ready for the rapture, but you won't even use quarantine to prepare. If you can't be disciplined with your time now, what makes you think you'll be ready when eternity calls? Think about it. Every day you spent scrolling could have been a day you spent growing. Every day you spent worrying could have been a day you spent worshiping. Every day you wasted could have been a day you prepared. Preparation isn't glamorous. Nobody applauds you for praying in silence. Nobody claps for you when you fast or read your Bible in private. But heaven sees and heaven rewards. Some people think preparation is optional, but when the trumpet sounds, there are no second chances. Quarantine might be the last rehearsal you get before eternity begins. The truth is, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your preparation. And if you're not preparing now, you'll be caught unready later. When the world is quiet, that's the perfect time to get loud with your faith. When the noise of life is gone, that's when you can finally hear God's whisper. Quarantine taught us that the things we thought we couldn't live without, concerts, sports, restaurants, malls, we actually could live without. But there's one thing you can't live without: being ready for God's call. Some of you were given a second chance during that time. Don't take it lightly. The next time the world shuts down, it might not be for a virus. It might be the call of eternity. That's why every moment matters. Every day matters. Every prayer matters. Every choice matters. Because preparation today determines your position tomorrow. So don't waste your quarantine. Don't waste your silence. Don't waste your chance to prepare. The next lockdown might not just be about staying home. It might be about whether your soul is ready to go home. Comfort won't save you. Character will. We live in a world that worships comfort. The soft bed, the nice house, the fancy car, the easy life. People think that if they get comfortable, they've won. But when the rapture begins, comfort won't mean anything. Comfort can't cover up a corrupt heart. Comfort can't erase disobedience. Comfort can't open the gates of heaven. Only character will stand when eternity shows up. Character is who you are when nobody is watching. It's what you choose when nobody's keeping score. Comfort is what you buy, but character is what you build. Some of the most comfortable people in the world are also the most empty. They've got money, clothes, vacations, but they don't have peace, because peace doesn't live in comfort. It lives in character. When the trumpet sounds, God's not going to ask how much you earned, but how much you learned. He's not going to look at your luxury. He's going to look at your loyalty. Comfort is temporary, but character is eternal. That's why storms and trials are necessary. They reveal what's inside you. And sometimes God will allow you to be uncomfortable so your character can grow. Lockdowns took away comfort for many people. They couldn't travel, couldn't shop, couldn't party, and in that moment some discovered they didn't have much character to lean on. See, comfort is easy because it requires nothing from you, but character demands sacrifice. It demands honesty, it demands discipline, and that's why so many people avoid it. You can fake comfort with money, but you can't fake character when the pressure hits. That's why the next lockdown isn't just a test of your lifestyle, it's a test of your heart. God doesn't care about your cushions and couches. He cares about your choices. When the sky cracks open, He won't be looking at how comfortable you were. He'll be looking at how faithful you were. Some people chase comfort so hard that they lose their character in the process. They'll lie for comfort, cheat for comfort, compromise their soul for comfort. But all that does is buy them a temporary pillow on their way to an eternal problem. Comfort makes you lazy. Character makes you strong. Comfort keeps you asleep. Character keeps you awake. Comfort makes you blind. Character makes you ready. Think about it. When life shakes you, comfort can't hold you together, but character can. Comfort cracks under pressure. Character grows under pressure. So stop chasing the easy life. Start building the right life. Don't build your foundation on pillows and pleasures. Build it on principles and purpose. Because when the rapture begins, your comfort won't speak for you. Your character will, and that's the only thing that will echo in eternity. Heaven doesn't care about excuses. Excuses sound good to people, but they don't hold any weight in eternity. You can explain yourself to friends, to family, to your boss. But when the trumpet sounds, excuses won't matter. Some folks live their whole lives building excuses instead of building discipline. They say, I'll change tomorrow. I'll get serious next week. I'll start praying when I have more time. But tomorrow is not promised. Heaven doesn't operate on your schedule. Heaven doesn't bend to your excuses. Heaven responds only to obedience and faith. Think about it. When the lockdowns came, people had every excuse for why they didn't grow. They said, I couldn't focus. I was stressed. I was stuck inside. Yet the same time that broke some people built others. That's proof that it's not about circumstances. It's about choices. Two people can go through the same trial and come out with two totally different results, based on whether they made excuses or moves. Excuses are just lies we tell ourselves so we can stay comfortable in our disobedience. They sound convincing to us, but they don't move heaven. Imagine the day of the rapture. Do you really think excuses will matter? Do you think you'll be able to say, "Lord, I was going to change, but I was busy"? No, the time for excuses will be over. Excuses waste the one thing you can't buy back, time. Every excuse is stolen time you'll never get back. Stolen energy you'll never see again. Stolen opportunities that will never return. Heaven doesn't want to hear why you couldn't. It wants to see what you did with what you had. Even if it was little, even if it was broken, even if it was imperfect. What did you do? The problem with excuses is they give you temporary relief but permanent regret. They make you feel safe now, but leave you unprepared later. Think of how many times you've excused yourself out of growth. How many times you've excused yourself out of discipline. How many times you've excused yourself out of obedience. And where did it get you? Excuses are the enemy of preparation. They disguise themselves as reasons, but really, they're chains holding you back from being ready. If you really want to be ready for the rapture, you've got to kill excuses at the root. Stop saying later. Stop saying someday. Stop saying if only. Because none of those words will matter when eternity calls. The truth is, everyone has obstacles. Everyone has struggles, but some rise and some hide. The ones who rise are the ones who stopped making excuses and started making decisions. Heaven doesn't care about excuses. Heaven cares about faithfulness. And when the trumpet sounds, you won't be judged by what you intended to do. You'll be judged by what you actually did. Use lockdowns as training for discipline. Discipline isn't built when life is easy. It's built when life is restricted, and nothing showed us that better than the lockdowns. They stripped away our routines and forced us to face ourselves. For some people, the lockdown was wasted time. But for others, it was training ground. It was where they learned how to manage their thoughts, their habits, and their time without the noise of the world. That's what discipline really is doing, what's necessary, not just what's convenient. And the lockdown was a stage set up to teach exactly that. Think about it. You didn't have gyms, but you still had your body. You didn't have church buildings, but you still had your Bible. You didn't have routines, but you still had choices. Discipline is about what you do with what's left. The lockdowns expose the difference between people who are controlled by their environment and people who control themselves. The first group fell apart, the second group got stronger. Discipline is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it gets weak. But if you use seasons like lockdowns to strengthen it, you'll come out tougher than before. Many used quarantine as an excuse for laziness, but the wise used it as a classroom. They learned how to quiet their mind, focus their spirit, and master their daily habits. That's the hidden gift in any restriction. It trains you. It forces you to prove that your strength isn't based on comfort, but on commitment. Discipline says, even when I can't do everything, I'll do something. It says, even when the world shuts down, my growth won't shut down. The reason discipline is so powerful is because it prepares you for moments you can't predict. And the rapture will be one of those moments. Only the disciplined will be ready. A life without discipline is a life of excuses. But a life with discipline is a life of readiness, and readiness is the key to eternity. The truth is, God uses times like lockdowns as rehearsal. If you can't manage your mouth, your mind, and your spirit in the small shutdowns, how will you handle the final one? Discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't get applause, but it gets you results. It makes sure you're not just surviving this life, but preparing for the next. Every lockdown you faced was an opportunity to practice. To train to build your self-control, strengthen your faith, and focus your priorities. Those who wasted it missed the lesson. So the next time life slows you down, don't see it as punishment. See it as practice. Because discipline learned in silence will be the very thing that saves you when the trumpet breaks the silence forever. Every warning is mercy, not punishment. Too many people mistake God's warnings for punishment. They think every hardship, every storm, every lockdown is heaven trying to destroy them. But the truth is, warnings are mercy in disguise. If God wanted to punish you, He wouldn't warn you. He wouldn't give you another sunrise. He wouldn't give you another breath. The very fact you're still alive means mercy is working on your behalf. Think about it. Every lockdown, every trial, every delay was a reminder that life is not forever. That was God's way of saying, get ready. I'm giving you another chance. Warnings don't feel comfortable, but they're necessary. Nobody likes alarms, but alarms save lives. And every warning from heaven is an alarm trying to wake you up before it's too late. Some people complain, why is this happening to me? But they don't realize it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. It's giving you time to change, time to prepare, time to realign. That's what mercy does. It interrupts your comfort to give you clarity. It shakes your routine to protect your soul. Look back at your life. Some of the biggest warnings you've had were the very things that saved you. A heartbreak that kept you from marrying the wrong person. A failure that stopped you from walking down the wrong path. A shutdown that forced you to finally hear God's voice. Warnings are gifts. They might sting in the moment, but they save you from destruction in the long run. The problem is, too many people ignore them. They hear the alarm, but they hit snooze. They see the signs, but they act like they're blind. But mercy doesn't last forever. One day, the warnings will stop. That's why every warning you receive is serious. It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to prepare you. If you're wise, you'll pay attention and adjust. If you're foolish, you'll ignore it until it's too late. God could have let the world keep spinning without reminders, but He didn't. That's mercy. He could have let you stay in your mess without interruption, but He didn't. That's mercy. The lockdowns weren't punishment. They were opportunities. They were God's way of saying, slow down, reflect, reset, prepare. And if you missed it, if you wasted that season, don't be discouraged. You're still breathing. That means mercy is still calling your name. Every warning is love dressed in discipline. It's heaven's way of saying, I don't want you to miss what I have for you. And that's why you've got to treat warnings like treasures, not troubles, because the day will come when mercy's warnings end and eternity's reality begins. And on that day, the only question will be, did you listen? Don't just survive the next lockdown. Be ready for the rapture when the last lockdown came. Most people were just focused on surviving. Stocking food, stacking toilet paper, scrolling news updates. They were trying to make it through the moment. But survival is not enough when eternity is on the line. Survival gets you through a season. Readiness gets you through forever. And the truth is, the next lockdown could be more than a season. It could be the start of eternity. Too many people think that the goal is just to make it through the storm. But what good is surviving the storm if your soul isn't ready for the Savior? When the rapture begins, it won't matter how much you stocked up. It won't matter how many groceries you had. It won't matter how long your Wi-Fi lasted. The only thing that matters is whether your name is written in heaven. Surviving focuses on your body. Readiness focuses on your soul. Surviving prepares you for another day on earth. Readiness prepares you for eternity with God. Don't get me wrong. It's wise to prepare for hard times, but don't let physical preparation blind you from spiritual preparation, because the body is temporary, but the soul is eternal. The rapture will separate the survivors from the ready. Survivors will still be here, trying to figure out what happened. The ready will be gone, taken into glory. That's why the next time life slows down, don't just use it to protect your health. Use it to protect your heart. Don't just use it to shield your body. Use it to strengthen your spirit. Every lockdown is a rehearsal. The world thinks it's about governments and health systems, but spiritually it's a test. It's asking, will you just survive or will you prepare? Survival is reactive. Readiness is proactive. Survival waits for trouble. Readiness stays prepared no matter what comes. People who only focus on survival panic when change comes. But people who focus on readiness stay calm because they already knew the day would come. Readiness is not about fear, it's about faith. It's living every day as if the trumpet could sound at any moment, because one day it will. You've got to make a choice now. Are you going to just be someone who survives another crisis? Or are you going to be someone who's ready for eternity? Surviving gets you through today, but readiness guarantees your tomorrow. And when the sky opens and time ends, only the ready will rejoice. So hear me, don't just survive the next lockdown. Use it as the moment to get ready for the rapture. Because when that day comes, survival won't matter. Readiness will. Family, let me tell you something. This world we live in is temporary. Every lockdown, every trial, every delay has been a preview, a rehearsal, a wake-up call. And if you've been paying attention, you know the next one might not just shut down the streets. It might shut down time itself. We've talked about reminders, promises, preparation, character, excuses, discipline, mercy, and readiness. And all of it points to one simple truth. You cannot afford to live unprepared. The next lockdown may not come with warnings on the news. It may not give you 2 weeks to adjust your schedule. It may not be about protecting your body. It might be about where your soul is headed for eternity. The trumpet will sound, the sky will open, and in that moment there will be no excuses, no delays, no second chances. The only thing that will matter is whether you were ready. So hear me today. Don't waste time chasing comfort. Don't waste time making excuses. Don't waste time ignoring warnings. Use every breath, every moment, every opportunity to get your heart right, because the rapture is not a story, it's a promise. And when that promise comes to pass, I want you to be among the ready. Not just surviving another lockdown, but stepping into the greatest freedom eternity has ever known. Because at the next lockdown, the rapture will begin. And you've got to make sure you're not left behind. The time is now. The choice is yours. The preparation is urgent. Be ready.